Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Rajat Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. In my channel, I make videos on Vedic astrology. I talk about transits. In the recent times, I have made a number of interesting videos, including Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini, Rahu and Ketu in Aquarius and Leo. You will find these interesting videos on my channel for your preparation for the coming months and the next couple of years. Today, I'm going to talk about an interesting phenomena, and again, you're not going to see me because I'm talking about Rahu. Once again, the shadowy planet Rahu, the very mystical shadowy graha, Chaya graha Rahu, and its conjunction with Saturn in the sign of Pisces. That is already happening, and it is going to be there till mid of May 2025. So, friends, firstly, I'd like to clarify that there's a lot of fear mongering that is happening in the name of Saturn Rahu conjunction. We do not need to fear. This is not the first time that Saturn and Rahu have come together. Yes, they do come in close contact once in many years. But again, this is a natural phenomena. They're both very grounded when it comes to making a transit in the sign of Pisces. So I do not consider this as a Shrapit dosha or any other form of fear mongering that is happening in the name of this conjunction. So let's try and understand this more in a positive way and how you can make the most of this conjunction. This is like an iron and steel combination, which means there is a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of weight that this conjunction has. So I'm going to bring in some interesting insights to share with you how this time period is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. And based on my research, what are some of the things that we could expect? I will also make a separate video on some global events, following up on my recent prediction about the earthquake in Myanmar that I made on 16th of March. And 2 weeks after that, we did witness a massive earthquake. It was quite unfortunate, loss of life. And of course, I'm deeply saddened by the events. But I believe Vedic astrology is an excellent mechanism for us to be prepared for such unforeseen events. I'd be making a separate video on some global events, narrowing down to some locations and what are some of the things that we could expect over the next 2 to 3 months for creating awareness based on my research. Again, we need to do a lot more research. I did mention 2 or 3 regions in my video. There's an opportunity for all of us to do more research and narrow down based on historical transits, based on what's happening at the moment. Saturn takes about 29 and a half to 30 years. Rahu takes about 18 years. So for them to cross paths, it takes years. Now, thankfully, this conjunction is not lasting a long period of time. Rahu is relatively old in this conjunction. Saturn is the newest graha. It is fresh. It is new. Rahu is in the process of moving out and entering Aquarius. And Rahu is retrograde. And of course, I'm going to talk about some interesting insights. Let's try and focus on what we can learn from this transit. Firstly, before I move to all the ascendant or the moon signs. So between April to mid-May. So Saturn and Rahu coming together is like iron and steel. So whichever house this conjunction is happening, you are likely to face some sort of heaviness, burden with regards to matters of those houses. Now, secondly, both Rahu and Saturn are deeply associated to past life karmas. So, Saturn is the natural karma karak. He represents duties, our duties that we have fulfilled in the past birth, and those duties which we are yet to fulfill in our current birth. Saturn's position in Navamsha chart really indicates some of the unfulfilled duties that you've had, and the opportunity that you have gotten in the current life is represented by Saturn's placement in your natal D1 or Rashi chart. Rahu represents all the Purva Pap, which is the ill deeds from the previous life. Therefore, both of these planets plays a very important role in rebirth, in of course the current life and its connection to the past life there. Okay. Last time they came together was between March through May in 1968, and this happened in Revati Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mercury. They were in the last degrees of Pisces. That time the situation was opposite. Rahu was a relatively newer entrant in the sign of Pisces, and Saturn had already spent more than 2 years in the sign of Pisces. So this time it's the other way around. Of course, there were some global events which did trigger in 1968. This time they're in Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter. So they're in Guru's Nakshatra. So therefore, a hint for us is that remedy for minimizing any ill effects lies with Guru. It lies with Jupiter because they're in the sign of Jupiter and in the nakshatra of Jupiter. Rahu is like Saturn, as we say, Kujvat Rahu, Shanivat Ketu. Rahu is the one who acts like Saturn. Both of them co-rule the sign of Aquarius. It is their Mool Trikon sign. So Saturn is a new and the fresh entrant. It will take time to settle down. It usually takes 2 to 3 months to really settle in and start delivering results in terms of its transit. They're at the same degree conjunction on around 20th and 21st of April. So this is the time when you're likely to face the most heaviness. So this is a little bit tricky. It's a bit sensitive. April to mid May is slightly turbulent because there's a lot of heaviness that is happening around this time. So, definitely, we could expect certain heaviness with regards to matters of the house where they are placed. They're also conjoined an exalted Venus and a debilitated Mercury, and both of them will be going in a direct motion pretty soon. So, of course, if you're running through Dasha Antardasha of any of these planets, Rahu, Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, and also Mars, you're likely to be impacted. The reason I'll explain you while I explain the individual interpretations based on ascendant signs. Rahu will be aspecting a debilitated Mars, which is in trines to this conjunction. Mars will be in the sign of Cancer. Rahu will be aspecting it by the fifth aspect. Saturn will also be aspecting Jupiter by its third aspect for the remainder of this time. Jupiter will change signs in mid of May. So till then, it is in Taurus and will be aspected by Saturn by its third aspect of growth. Sun is in Shubh Yoga and Venus and Jupiter are in a Parivartan Yoga or an exchange yoga during this time. So while Sun will move in the sign of Aries, it will be in Shubh Yoga. The sign of Aries throughout the time will be in an auspicious yoga, and Venus and Jupiter will be involved in an Parivartan or an exchange yoga. Now let's try and understand some effects of Saturn Rahu conjunction in Pisces. Both of them have very strong karmic influences. They can definitely bring intense transformations. This could be related to Pisces, the house it represents. So, for example, if Pisces falls in your ascendant, transformation of yourself. If it falls in the 10th house, transformation related to your work. If in the 8th house, sudden transformations. Ninth house, travel related changes or transformations could be there. Higher learning. Third house, any change which could be intense, which could be deeply resonated with your desires, so on and so forth. Two energies are a mix of restriction, which is denoted by Saturn, and ambition, which is denoted by Rahu. So this leads to either intense struggles or breakthroughs. So it's a make or a break kind of a transit. So either you could struggle or you could really have breakthroughs during this time. It definitely has a huge potential to bring enormous amount of success because Saturn is the significator of labor and Rahu is the significator of expansion and ambition. And if they come together in a positive way, this could take a person to great heights. Those having a natal Saturn Rahu conjunction or it is connected via aspect in their natal charts will be most impacted regardless of their dasha antadasha. Those who have a natal Saturn or Rahu in Pisces, those who are having their Saturn return or Rahu return, they're also likely to be impacted by this transit. Saturn is the one who seeks order, and Rahu is the one who thrives on chaos, shortcuts. This leads to a bit of inner confusion. So these are conflicting energies. So a good tip for you would be to choose the right path. You will have choices, the right choice and the wrong choice. So you need to choose the right path. See, we always have a choice in life. So this time period is quite excellent for you to determine the kind of choices that you have and really help you leading towards the point of choice. What is the kind of path that you would be taking? It's more of a push and pull effect where Rahu accelerates and Saturn slows things down. Saturn is air, Rahu is wind. Saturn is a very slow moving planet, it's a cold planet, right? So there's a push and pull effect, which is again conflicting. Both are tamasic in nature and they represent manipulation, power struggles, or facing deceit. In case you're going through dasha antadasha that is not conducive, if they're connected to some of your dasha antadasha planets, these people could be susceptible to deceit, to manipulation. So, at a general sense, we need to be careful of our situation and, of course, political situation in life, at work, with friends, with family, and of course with relatives, with everyone. So this is at a general sense that you have to be conscious of other people. It does create intense material desires and also a feeling of emptiness despite achieving success. So people with such conjunction, the biggest challenge is for them to reach a state being content. If you achieve great success, you would still feel that there is something missing. There is a sense of emptiness. So that's something which is a great, challenge for them to overcome. Some ancient scriptures also call it a Shrapit Yoga or a cursed combination. This does not really apply in the sign of Pisces, in my humble opinion, because Pisces is the sign of devotion. It is very greatly represented by Lord Vishnu's feet, where Rahu is very humble, falling into Guru's or Jupiter's feet. Saturn has again begun its journey in Guru's sign, and there's a great respect mutually that both Saturn and Jupiter have. So therefore, I do not consider this as a Shrapit or a cursed combination here. Yes, this combination is associated to lineage, to ancestors, and of course, it's a good time when they come together to think about your ancestors, to think about, your loved ones, and of course, take their blessings and keep them in prayers. This is more at a general sense. Now let's talk about how this conjunction is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. At the physical level, you must read this from the ascendant. At a mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Let us begin with Aries ascendants. I have a representation chart here, and I'm going to give you a quick overview in terms of what's happening when Rahu and Saturn are coming together in the sign of Pisces, and around 20th of April, they will come at same degrees, right? So 2 degrees and 38 minutes would be uh, their degree of conjunction. So they're going to come in on same degrees. So that's going to be quite intense. So firstly, this is like an iron and steel. So you are going to feel heaviness with regards to matters of this house, which is the 12th house. There are 4 planetary conjunction in the 12th house: Saturn, Rahu, Mercury, and Venus. Both Saturn and Rahu are the co-ruler of your 11th house, and that is moved into the 12th house. So, of course, you could feel burdened with expenditure. You could feel burdened with your social circle, social life. But from a spiritual point of view, it's an excellent time to do any sadhana, to do any spiritual practices, meditation, yoga. Of course, you will need a lot of meditation. Your 12th house has undergone an eclipse. There's a 4 planetary conjunction that is there. You must leverage yourself to meditation. Remedy comes from Jupiter. See, throughout this conjunction, Saturn will be aspecting Jupiter, Rahu will be aspecting Mars. So Mars is your Lagna Lord, is the Lord of the Ascendant. So you could face difficulties in making key decisions between April through mid-May. So while making key decisions, you might have to step out of a comfort zone or you might get very limited time. There could be a sense of suddenness because Rahu has a 5th aspect on your ascendant Lord Mars, who's already going debilitated for the remainder of this transit in the 4th house. Though it's in the 4th house, it's a good placement for your ascendant Lord. I would highly encourage you to go for spiritual practices, to focus a lot on those things which could be your hobby, area of interest, things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content. But any major decision could be avoided around this time because there's a lot of illusion which Rahu is creating. Let this transit occur, let Rahu move out, and of course, move to Aquarius and settle in. And while Jupiter will also come in your 3rd house away from the aspect of Saturn. Though Saturn's aspect is not bad, this 3rd aspect of Saturn is about growth. So, in case you want to pick up a course, you want to learn something, this is a very good time for you. Your speech could have some issues, maybe some sort of conflict that you could have with others. If you're thinking of going through any dietary changes, it's a good time for you. It's a good time to put your lifestyle back on track, right? There are a lot of rajas and tamasic energies in your 12th house. right? So these are again conflicting. So living in the material world and also at the same time having some ill thoughts as well. So sleep is something which you have to also take care of over the next few weeks. If you fix your sleep and have a nice morning meditation routine, remedy Jupiter, use mantras related to Jupiter, either a beach mantra because Jupiter is making a transit in your second house. This is how you'll be able to channelize all of these four planets positively, and you will build good self awareness, you will build your self consciousness, and of course, your decision making could be better as well. Worship Lord Shiva, use a simple mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Sada Shivaya. This is something which you can use. If you use a Vishnu mantra, then use a Vishnu mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which is a Dwadashakshari mantra or a mantra with 12 syllables mapped to your 12th house. And of course, it will help you channelize the energies of both Mercury and Venus positively. And may you have a good time and build plenty of resilience and a good spiritual practice. Now let us talk about Taurus ascendants. What's happening with Taurus ascendants as Saturn and Rahu come together in the sign of Pisces between April through mid of May. So next 1.5 months, Saturn's already moved in the sign of Pisces. Rahu is about to make its last leg. It's making its last leg in the sign of Pisces. It will move to Aquarius in the month of May. They're also conjoined with Mercury and Venus. Venus is your ascendant lord, so of course it is under the influence of Rahu and Saturn to some extent. Mercury is your fifth lord, so both of them are important planets for you. Rahu and Saturn are also important planets because these both are your 10th lord. So your ascendant lord is involved, your fifth lord is involved, your 10th lord is involved, yourself, your future, and your work. So there will be heaviness with regards to matters pertaining to the 11th house. But I consider most of the planets giving good results when they make a transit in the 11th house, when they're placed in the 11th house, especially when they are malefics. They work very well. Rahu delivers phenomenal results. Saturn's very good in the 11th house. Uh, First half of the month, I do expect some certain challenges for you to be low on confidence, not have very good decision-making capability. But second half of April till mid of May is an excellent time to make some important work-related decisions, decisions pertaining to your future. And of course, if you were to bring in any changes in yourself, this time period could also give you a rise in income. Okay, while your expenditure would increase as well, but this would be very supportive to give you a kind of incentive or a rise of income or a secondary source of income. This could give you work-related progress as well in case you're running through favorable dasha antardasha. The Rahu is aspecting Mars, who is sitting in your third house in transit. Mars is the significator of the third house and it's debilitated. So Rahu has an intense aspect here. So you could feel low on energy because there's a lot of pressure that Rahu is building. So make sure that you exercise every day. You go for a walk or a run or spend some time in the gym. This is how you would probably be able to channelize these energies. Saturn's aspecting Jupiter by its third aspect, which is the aspect of growth. And Jupiter for you is your 11th lord making a transit here. So there are a couple of Dhan yogas which are pretty much active, and both Jupiter and Venus are also involved in Parivartan yoga. So to minimize any ill effects of this transit, you have to look up to Venus, you have to look up to Mercury. So the remedy should be related to Venus as well as Mercury. So most importantly, Venus, because Jupiter and Venus are making a Parivartan. So this Jupiter is acting as if it's Venus sitting in your ascendant. And worship goddess Lakshmi, use a simple mantra Om Lakshmaye Namah. Read Shri Suktam on a daily basis. This is how you would probably be able to make some very thoughtful decisions, some good decisions related to your future. If you were to pick up a course, it's an excellent time for you to learn because Saturn is definitely supporting Jupiter from a growth point of view. You could do some research, you could learn about astrology because Jupiter is also your eighth lord, and of course, build a lot of mindfulness. Watch your weight over the next couple of months. You could have a tendency to have a bit of a spoiled lifestyle, an inconsistent lifestyle. So watch what you eat and of course watch your lifestyle. Otherwise, it could be detrimental towards your health and well-being. And this is something which you have to probably counter. And then again, it goes back to my saying that exercise every day and help channelize these energies. But I do consider this, mostly good. There is no fear of thinking that Rahu and Saturn are making a transit in the 11th house. right? Of course, you will feel heaviness related to responsibilities towards your friends, towards the wider social circle. Be careful of interacting on social media, so don't end up venting your emotions and take calculative steps. But overall, I wish you much success over the next couple of months. Let us now talk about Gemini ascendants. And what's happening with Gemini ascendants as Saturn and Rahu, they're coming together in the sign of Pisces and they're having a conjunction. They're also conjoined Mercury and Venus. Mercury is your ascendant lord, Venus is your fifth lord, and Saturn and Rahu are your ninth lord. So all of these planets hold an important lordship for you, and they are conjoined nearly for the next 1.5 months in the sign of Pisces. So your first house is involved, your fifth house is involved, your ninth house is involved, and your 10th house is involved. So most of the houses that are involved are good houses. First half of the month is a little bit challenging where you could face some heat at work or some changing situations, involvement at work, authority issues, but you have an opportunity to come in a very authoritative or a powerful position over the next couple of months because your ninth lord are making a transit in the 10th house, fifth lord and ascendant lord are making a transit in the 10th house. This kind of opportunity, in case your dasha antardasha is supportive, could put you in a very authoritative position. But with power comes ego. So you have to keep your ego aside because due to the ego, you could have conflict with your colleagues, with your co-workers, and that could be detrimental towards your work success. Right? You also need to be very careful of your speech, what you say, because you can't take your words back. Mars is making a debilitated transit in your second house and it is aspected by Rahu. Rahu's fifth aspect, see, it is about knowledge, but it is all about, all bad knowledge that is there. So, of course, it's under the illusion. Though Mars is debilitated, it will help you in thinking through before you probably act, before you speak. This is a good tip for you. Jupiter is making the last leg of transit in your 12th house before it moves to Gemini. And Saturn is aspecting by the third aspect. This is the aspect of growth. So, for any spiritual practice that you do over the next couple of months, you have a huge opportunity to become consistent. So, learn something new, learn yoga or some new techniques of meditation if you already practice some unconventional ways of improving or increasing your spiritual capability. See, you would definitely face heaviness with regards to matters of the 10th house because this will bring in huge responsibility. But you have to be very ethical over the next couple of months. Don't end up making a wrong decision or probably getting into any malpractices or shortcuts towards success or towards earning wealth. uh, Avoid any corrupt work practices and stay absolutely ethical and grounded. This is again a warning because otherwise it could be detrimental towards your own success. There are tamasic energies and there are rajasic energies, right? So of course both of them have their own pluses and minuses. So of course you would like to expand what you do, but at the same time, there are no shortcuts for expansion. You still need to work hard. You need to be communicative and make the most of this time to build cordial relationships at workplace because channelize the Rahu in a way that it helps you expand the power of labor, the power of your communication, and the power of your interaction as well that comes from Saturn, Mercury, and Venus. So take this as an opportunity for you. Those people who are looking forward to moving to a new job or a new workplace, this could be a potentially favorable time in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Either use a Vishnu mantra or a Lakshmi mantra. So a simple mantra for you could be to use Om Vishnave Nama or read Sri Suktam on a daily basis. This will be very good for you. And I wish you the very best for the next couple of months. Let us now talk about Cancer ascendants and what's happening with Cancer ascendants as Rahu and Saturn, they're coming together in the sign of Pisces along with Mercury and Venus. So there will be a four planetary conjunction. I've prepared a sample chart for you to give you a representation of what's happening. And this is a very unique video that I have made here. Saturn and Rahu are conjoined, but we have to look at the holistic approach. What are the other grahas that are involved and are getting impacted during this transit? Okay. So they're conjoined Mercury and Venus. So Saturn and Rahu, both for you, are your eighth lords, making a transit in the ninth house. Venus is the fourth lord, and Mercury for you is the 12th lord, and also your third lord, who's making a transit in the ninth house. Now, during this transit, what is happening is you're going to face a lot of heaviness with regards to matters of your ninth house, which is your dharma, your bhagya. You need to be the protector of your dharma. Any remedy for you, if you feel heaviness with regards to fortune not being in favor, or if you face any obstacles related to travel, right? If you go on a spiritual retreat, it's an excellent time for you. You must go on a spiritual retreat, but take care of your belongings while you're traveling. So there could be some issues during journeys, but that would again depend on your ongoing dasha antardasha. See, Saturn is aspecting Jupiter, who continues to make a transit in your 11th house for the remainder of this time before it enters Gemini mid of May. So this is the planet that you have to look up to. So any remedy that will come for you to channelize the energies here, all of these energies, is from Jupiter. The mantra that you would use is a Jupiter mantra. The planet that you would look up to is Jupiter, because Jupiter is connected to your fifth house of mantras. So mantras definitely will work very well. Okay. In case you don't look at mantras, you must consume food item related to Jupiter. Consume saffron, consume turmeric. In milk, that is excellent for you because Moon is your ascendant lord, Jupiter is your ninth lord. You must consume milk and turmeric, or have a turmeric latte. Consume saffron, consume jaggery. So these are some of the food items that you must consume to increase the power of Jupiter. And use a simple Guru mantra, that is Om Gurave Namah, or the Bij mantra of Jupiter will also be good, or any Shiva mantra. You could use a Panchakshari mantra, that is Namah Shivaya, for you to channelize the energies of all these four planets in a positive manner. See, Rahu is aspecting Mars, who is your fifth lord. So Mars, Mangal being your fifth lord sitting in ascendant, is making a yoga. It is debilitated, but I don't see it being of a lot of harm to you. This is going to make you very humble. This is going to make you very grounded. But temporarily, Rahu has an aspect of on Mars which could create illusion, which could probably be detrimental to your decision making. So this is where again you have to look up to Jupiter, because Jupiter will give you wisdom to make the right kind of decisions, and for your protection as well, for your protection of Bhagya, for your travel, for your higher education, and of course all these purposes. Because if Bhagya is supportive for us, fortune is supportive, we could go through any of those difficult times. So stay grounded by the energies of Mars. You could feel low in energy as well. So make sure that you stay active all throughout the day. You keep yourself hydrated. Drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water. Of course, depending on your workout. Let us now talk about Leo ascendants and what's happening with Leo ascendants as Saturn and Rahu are coming together in the sign of Pisces between April through mid of May. Around 20th and 21st of April, they will be at the same degree conjunction as well. And they're not alone here, they're conjoined with Mercury and Venus as well. So you have a four planetary conjunction in your eighth house. Eighth house is the house of suddenness in life. It also represents longevity, your overall health and well being, but this shows your weakness. We say Nija dosha. So, Nija dosha means your weaknesses and your inability to counter your weaknesses, which lead you to wrong decisions or some bad decisions in life. And of course, sudden events and sudden transformations are also seen from the eighth house. Those people who study astrology or have an interest, being a Leo ascendant, this is an excellent time. Go deep. You will do research, you will expand, you will put the power of labor, and it's a good remedy for you as well to study and to understand the nitty-gritties. And of course, anything related to research, you must do it. See, on a positive side, you will have a renewed focus on your health and well being, on your transformation, because there are some important planets. Both of them rule your seventh house. You will have a greater focus on your relationship. This is the Mangale Bhava of your relationship, prosperity in marriage, partnership, businesses. So you're going to make some important decisions related to business. Maybe you could have some good earnings, because this also indicates a sudden increase in wealth, unearned sources of income, something related to taxes, right? Something related to foreign lands or hidden sources of wealth, inheritance. If these are some of the things that you're probably planning, this could be a favorable time for you in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, because your 2nd and the 11th Lord Mercury is making a transit along with your 10th Lord Venus. So expect work related change or a transformation. In order to make it better for you, the planet that you have to look up to is Jupiter. Any remedy will come from Jupiter, who is the ruler of Pisces, who is also the ruler of Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra, where Saturn and Rahu will be making a transit. And Jupiter, for the remainder of the time, is making a transit in your 10th house. It is aspected by Saturn, which indicates growth. So it is time to demonstrate your wisdom at work and make use of these growth opportunities that you can to the best of your abilities. So Jupiter's Bij Mantra, look up to Jupiter. And of course, any remedy to help you sail through this time should come from Jupiter. You could probably chant the Brihaspati Gayatri Mantra. That will be phenomenal for you. This will be very good. Start doing that in the morning. Start from coming Thursday, and then of course you could be regular to it. You could use a mantra Om Guruve Nama and do it 12 times, right? 12 times also includes your heart chakra. So think about your heart and mind as well. And it is mapped to all the 12 signs to make the 12 houses in your chart positive around this time. Rahu is aspecting Mars, who is going debilitated in your 12th house. Mars is getting Neech Bhanga, but Rahu is aspecting. So, of course, it could cause issues in your sleep. So, you could face some obstruction or some sort of, discomfort. So, that is something which you have to watch out for and make sure that you are active throughout the day so you can get good 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Also, make use of this time to increase your spiritual quotient. Practice yoga, sadhana, meditation, new, very unconventional techniques or ways. So, you could go deeper into these things because you will have the capacity, you will have the capability. That's more on the positive side. But be prepared with any suddenness. So, anything that could come for all of a sudden, or you would be given very short time to make an important decision. So, be prepared for those sudden shifts that could be related to your work, it could be related to your relationship with your spouse or your business partners. I wish you the very best and please look up to Jupiter to avoid any ill effects. Let us now talk about Virgo ascendant. What's happening in Virgo ascendants as Saturn and Rahu come together in the sign of Pisces between April through mid-May. And around 20th of April, for a couple of days, they will be conjoined at the same degree, around the same degree. So this is going to be intense. So Saturn and Rahu are like iron and steel, as I mentioned initially. You will feel a lot of heaviness, matters pertaining to your seventh house. This is your seventh house, which is the Jaya Bhava. This house represents peace and also war. This is the house of your spouse. We see marriage from this house, business partnership, those people who are opposite to you. So there could be some mismatch in terms of expectations, what other people expect from you and what you are there to deliver, or of course, what you expect from others. So you would feel the burden or heaviness in managing and navigating certain relationships. This is not only limited to your spouse or your partner, but all those people who you work with or you come in contact with. Because your ascendant lord, Mercury is involved, your ninth lord, Venus is also involved. So, from a remedial point of view, you have to look up to Mercury or Venus in order to channelize the maximum energies. Saturn is also your fifth lord. Rahu is your sixth lord in seventh house, the core sixth lord. Sixth house represents your shadripus or weakness of the mind. So this could really put a lot of focus on your relationship. So some sense of burden or heaviness that you would feel. Thankfully, both Rahu and Saturn, they gain directional strength in the seventh house. So they are blessings of Lord Shiva. Look up to him. He is the one who would protect you. See, it's a simple concept. Lord Shiva is called Bholenath and he is the easiest to please. He is the one who has a family, so he understands family responsibilities. Especially Virgo ascendants, those who have family responsibilities, you need to perhaps have a differentiated approach towards managing expectations with your family and, of course, members there. So, this could be a testing time for you. Look up to Mercury and Venus. In case you're looking to start a new business, this could be a good time for you. This could be a favorable time because there's the power of labor and expansive capabilities as well. But be careful of other people, because you could be susceptible to cheating or any sort of deceit around this time. So try and stay low key, right? Because mentally, this could put you in a weaker position. So meditate, practice sadhana. See, Saturn's aspecting Jupiter, who's making a transit in the ninth house, where Bhagya is pretty much supportive. If you take advice of someone elder, let's say a guru or a mentor, or someone who you look up to, that person could give you the right kind of advice to avoid any adversity and to be in your favor. Worship Lord Vishnu. Use a Vishnu mantra, which is a Shadakshari mantra, Om Vishnave Nama, throughout this time to channelize Mercury and also to make this Rahu positive. Rahu is also aspecting Mars in the 11th house, which I don't consider very bad for you. Mangal is going to do good here because it will ensure that the efforts that you put, you get results from those efforts. If it is related to your work, if it is related to relationship, but be very focused on your health and well-being, because there could be minor issues with yourself as well and with your spouse as well, those people who are married. So watch your health, make sure that you are probably having a good lifestyle, avoid any kind of indulgence, extravagance. You could be a part of social settings, social gatherings, so you could be under tremendous social pressure. But towards the end of the day, you need to remember that it is your decision and it is your life, and of course, the consequences will be yours as well. So, put your acts together and don't make any bad decision for yourself. Stay away from indulgences and make use of expansive tendencies around this time, the power of labor in your business, and of course, put some new ideas into action and try to build credible relationship with people. And I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Libra ascendant. What's happening with Libra ascendants? As Saturn and Rahu, they come together in the sign of Pisces, and this is happening in your sixth house. Okay, sixth house represents daily routine. It also represents your shad ripus, which means enemies of your mind. It also represents job, those people who are opposite to you. It represents legal issues, litigation, competition from others. So Saturn and Rahu are like iron and steel. So whenever they come together, they do create certain heaviness with regards to matters related to these houses. So if you're running through Dasha Antardasha of any of these planets who are mentioned here, of course I've taken the majority of planets. I've taken the 4 planetary conjunction here. Mercury and Venus are also conjoined with Saturn and Rahu. Venus is your Lagna Lord, Mercury is your ninth lord, and both Saturn and Rahu are your fifth lord. So your trines are very much active, and these planets are making a transit in your daily routine. So this is an excellent time for you to build your fundamentals, because see, this is your dharma trikon. This axis is your dharma trikon. It's your path of righteousness. So you have to be the protector of your dharma. If you were to build your fortune, you need to do some sort of decluttering in your daily routine, in things that you do on a day-to-day basis. You could get success in competitive fields, but you could have hidden enemies, some very powerful opposition. You will defeat them, you will overcome them through this time, but this could be stressful as well. Those people who are with some litigation issues, so that's something which could crop up, something from the past, or you would look to probably resolve this issue in a very diplomatic manner or an outside the court settlement kind of a thing, which could probably be the case. But focus a lot on ensuring that you declutter your daily routine and things that you do on a day to day basis. This is an opportunity for you. You could clean up your house as well, you could clean up the space that you work in. This could create new job opportunities as well, trigger job, or have a heavy responsibility in terms of your current job, because the expectations will be on a higher side. There will be competition. If you were to succeed, you will have to surpass this competition. You have a great chance of winning this competition. For your spouse, those people who are married, it's a very good time for your spouse, because they could have some success, they could have some growth opportunities. Your seventh house is in Shubh Yoga. Okay, so this is something which you have to probably also make a note of. Saturn is aspecting Jupiter, who's making a transit in the eighth house. And this is the third aspect of growth. So, growth related to Jupiter's wisdom and the transformation that it is trying to bring in your life. you would need to put in a lot more efforts. See, because Jupiter is your third lord, making a transit in the eighth house. You would feel that your efforts are getting wasted. But now is the time when you have the power of labor and wisdom in your efforts as well. So make good use of them. In case those people who study astrology or are into some research related fields, this could be a good time for you to overcome competition and have some sort of success. I consider most of these planets, of course, Venus is Maran Karak. It's losing its significance, so you need to remedy Venus. You need to do some, of course, mantras related to Venus or eat sour foods. Take care of your digestive system. So, take probiotics over the next few weeks because there could be issues with your digestion. So, make sure that you are eating at the right intervals, at the right time, and including some probiotics in your diet. Rahu's aspecting this Mars, who's making a transit in the 10th house. Mars is Digbali, gaining directional strength. So, of course, expect some good news when it comes to work related matters. Something that is coming to an end, and you're likely to step into a new job or a new exciting project. But make sure that your decision and your actions are driven by ethics at workplace and you avoid any kind of confrontation, any argument, heated argument with your colleagues, with your co-workers. So that's something which you have to be mindful of. And I wish you the very best for this time. Now let us talk about Scorpio ascendant. What's happening with Scorpio ascendants as Saturn and Rahu are coming together in the sign of Pisces between April through mid of May. So there's a lot of fear mongering that is happening in the name of this conjunction, and I want to probably remove some of those fear mongering as well. It's not that bad, for all of us. Of course, this does create some sort of heaviness in terms of matters related to the house where they are placed. So it will create heaviness with regards to matters of the fifth house for you. Okay, where Mercury and Venus are also placed. Venus is your seventh lord, Mercury is your 11th lord. So they're also making a transit during this time in your fifth house. So you need a little more unconventional way of thinking. See, fifth house represents your creativity, and creativity comes from thinking. The four planetary conjunction could make you a little bit uncertain in terms of what comes ahead, but now is the time for you to think out of the box and be unconventional in your approach. Take some risks, even if they are not very calculative. You have to take some risk. You have to, even if you're in a state of delusion, because delusion acts as your strength, because you're at least trying to act. Otherwise, you just keep thinking of a plan and you're never able to implement it. This is a time for you to implement that plan without further thinking, without further delay, so it's now or a never kind of a situation for you over the next couple of months. So if you're facing some issues with regards to your progress, you need to look back. Maybe you're doing something wrong and you need to have a differentiated or a very creative approach. All of these planets are fostering creativity and a focus for your future. This is something which you have to perhaps bear in mind. For those people who are trying to have children, there could be a little bit of delay, when it comes to childbirth. There could also have issues in your love life because this represents your unconditional love. So, of course, in romantic relationship, there could be some conflict. You could either make or break a relationship over the next couple of months. So, try to stay low key and protect what you have at the moment. Saturn's aspecting Jupiter, who's your fifth lord. So, any remedy at this time comes from Jupiter because Jupiter is aspecting your Lagna. It's making a connection with your Lagna, and at the same time, it is, of course, aspecting some of the other houses as well in your chart. It is aspecting your 11th house, it is aspecting your third house. So, any efforts that you put, you need to look up to Jupiter. Use mantras related to Jupiter because all of these planets are sitting in your fifth house. So, a simple mantra, Om Gurave Nama, 12 times if you use, you will be able to encounter and, of course, channelize these energies in a very positive manner. Rahu is aspecting Mars. Mars is debilitated in your ninth house, okay, and it is aspected by Rahu. So you have to stick to your dharma, the path of righteousness. This could probably give you some shifting tendencies in case you have any travel plans. There could be issues. If you can delay it, it's good. Otherwise, go out there, connect with the nature, exercise every day to channelize the energies of Mars because Mars is your ascendant lord. So your decision making could be a test at this time. You might need advice of someone senior, your mentor, guru, or some advisor. So that could be helpful for you. Take your spouse's advice or partner's advice. They could really go out of the way to help you during this time. There's also relationship karma that you have to fulfill over the next couple of months. Look up to Jupiter, look up to Mars, and of course, take advice from your partner or your guru. And may you have a pleasant transit and a conjunction of Saturn and Rahu. And please do not fear. Now let's talk about Sagittarius ascendants. What's happening with Sagittarius ascendants as Saturn and Rahu they come together in the sign of Pisces. So this is a conjunction that is going to be there from April to mid of May. And not only Rahu and Saturn, throughout the time they will be conjoined with Mercury and Venus. They'll also be conjoined with Surya for a brief period, who's your ninth lord. But I've not taken that into account to keep it more simple for you. There are other two planets that are also involved by aspect, Jupiter and Mars, because both Saturn and Rahu will have an impact on Jupiter and Mars as well through this time. So, firstly, there's no need to fear, right? Because there's a lot of fear mongering that is happening in the name of Rahu and Saturn conjunction. So, remove all the fear that you have. Definitely, it's like an iron and steel, so it does create heaviness with regards to matters pertaining to the house where they are placed. This is happening in the fourth house, which is your comfort, your sukh bhava, your safe space, your happy space, where you feel most happy, most content. Your seventh lord Mercury, your 11th lord Jupiter is also, your 11th lord Venus is also involved in this conjunction. So you'll definitely face heaviness at home in your responsibilities, and the situation is such that will put you out of your comfort zone. So you will have shifting moods. At one point in time, you would like to have an emotional detachment from anyone and everyone in your life. And at the second time point in time, you would want to step into the situation with your family and of course help deal with any challenging times or any turbulent times if there may be. So you would have probably two kind of situations. It is important for you to realize that you have to step out of your comfort zone. It's an excellent time. See, the only good remedy that I could think for you is to declutter your home. This is a perfect time to clean up your house because if you keep your surroundings clean and tidy, Saturn becomes positive, Rahu becomes positive. If that is cluttered, then of course it creates a lot of negativity around it, and of course it takes you significant amount of efforts to do it and do it yourself. In case you have an open space in your house, let's say a balcony or a terrace, clean it yourself, wash it, using water once a week. This is something which you must do. So there are, both tamasic and rajasic energies in your fourth house sitting out here. So this is conflicting as well, right? So you would want to have the best of both worlds. So there could be some decision pertaining to real estate or your asset as well, buying, selling, or some transaction that you could make. This could be favorable for you in case your dasha and the dasha is supportive. You need to look up to your Lagna Lord Jupiter for any remedy. This will come from Jupiter. Jupiter rules your fourth house. Saturn's aspecting Jupiter. This is the third aspect of growth. Jupiter is, of course, bringing a lot of focus in your daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Jupiter would have helped you to build your IQ and your emotional quotient over the last 1 year or so. Now is the time for you to look up to him, do any remedy related to Jupiter, whether it's a mantra or a food item related to Jupiter. Please consume saffron, consume jaggery, consume turmeric. So add these items in your daily diet, and this way you'll be able to channelize. And also, one thing that you could probably do is to consume probiotics because you could have some issues with your digestion, or include greens, salad in your diet because it would support digestion. That's something. And of course, portion of food is also something which you have to be mindful of during this time. Otherwise, there could be issues with your stomach. Rahu is aspecting your fifth lord Mars by its fifth aspect. See, this aspect of Rahu is the aspect of knowledge, but it's not the good knowledge, right? It's all wrong doings or wrong deeds. Mars is making a transit in the eighth house. It's your fifth lord. It is getting Neech Bhanga. Uh, but this could be probably not very supportive for your decision making in terms of your future. So if you have any big future plans, put them at rest for a moment, right? Relax a bit, focus on meditation, mindfulness, and increasing your spiritual practice. And think about all those long term plans over the next few months. There'll be a better time for you to do that. And I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Capricorn ascendants. What's happening with Capricorn ascendants as Saturn and Rahu are coming together in the sign of Pisces? Okay, so this particular transit is like iron and steel. So, whichever house they make a transit, firstly, you're likely to feel heaviness with regards to matters pertaining to this house. Secondly, there needs to be no need to fear. So, no fear mongering in the name of Saturn Rahu conjunction. Of course, this could probably be a game changer time for a lot of people. One thing that you would definitely build is strong determination and your ability to put in a lot more efforts over the next few weeks, building your courage and valor. So, all of these things. See, because these four planets are going to be conjoined throughout this transit in your third house, which is your house of efforts. That includes your Lagna Lord Saturn, your second Lord, and the co second Lord Rahu and Saturn, both of them. Okay. Your ninth Lord Mercury, and your fifth Lord Venus. So, trinal lords making a transit in the house of efforts, valor, courage. So, more from a karmic standpoint, it is time for you to think that if your efforts did not pay results in the past, now you will see some movement. You will see some results coming through based on your efforts. First half of the transit till mid of April could be a little bit challenging till about 12th, 13th of April. You could be in a delusion. You will have a strong sense of desires, and probably you need to channelize that, control that. There could be some travel related issues as well. But post that, I expect your efforts to give you results. Third house is also the house of growth. It is one of the Upachaya bhavas. So we see growth of your dharma, growth of yourself, and of course your future if these planets are making a transit. But you will have a high sense of desire. You will feel heaviness with regards to your responsibility. In case you have a co-born or a younger sibling, particularly, there is some karma that is pertaining there. So you could have some conflict. You could have some issues there with your sibling with regards to communication. Third house also represents communication. So you're likely to be very unconventional in your approach. See, there are positive energies here. There are a lot of Rajasic energies, but this could cause conflict with regards to communication. Make sure that you're also equally a good listener as you are a speaker, because you need to listen to others as well before putting your point across. This is how you would probably channelize the energies of this transit. You need to look up to your Lagna Lord Saturn. Use a simple Shani mantra, Shani Bija, that is Om Sham, or you read Shri Suktam on a daily basis, or look up to Venus. Do remedies related to Venus. Consume yogurt, lemon, so sour foods. Of course, it will help you channelize the energies of Venus, which is your fifth lord, to help secure your future, because Venus is also in its exaltation sign. Saturn's aspecting Jupiter, who's sitting in your fifth house. Both Saturn and Venus are involved in a Parivartan Yoga. So, in order to make the most of it, Jupiter's aspect that it is receiving from Saturn is the third aspect, which is the aspect of growth. It is the Upachaya aspect. So, anything that you learn, so it is the time for you to build fundamental knowledge, increase your creativity. So, be more innovative in your approach, thinking out of the box. Some of these things are going to be pretty good. Jupiter is also a significator here. So, those who have children, your children could have some key events, some life events, or some success over the next couple of months. It is quite favorable for them. You have to take care of your partner or your spouse health, because Mars is making a transit in the seventh house in a debilitated state, and it is aspected by Rahu, which is a little bit detrimental. And if you could have some relationship conflict over the next couple of months, communication issues, or some heated arguments or conflict. So, this is where you have to keep your ego aside. You have to probably be grounded and practice humility. Your partner definitely could go out of the way to help you as well in certain circumstances in case your dasha is supportive. So make sure that you're there for them and you listen to your partner, and may you have a blessed time. Now let us talk about Aquarius ascendants. What's happening with Aquarius ascendants as Saturn and Rahu come together in the sign of Pisces. Now, this conjunction is happening. Firstly, we do not need to fear with regards to this conjunction because this is not the first time Saturn and Rahu would be coming together historically once in few years, but sometimes it takes them many years to, of course, come together because they're slow moving planets. Their transits are slow. Rahu is always moving retrograde, and Saturn is moving ahead. So Rahu is the one who spent considerable amount of time in Pisces, is about to move out and into Aquarius. Saturn's relatively new. So it's a very differentiated situation here. This is happening in your second house. So certainly you're going to face heaviness with regards to matters pertaining to second house because this is like iron and steel. So heaviness pertaining to family responsibilities, matters related to your finances, related to your accumulation, related to your diet. Because from second house we see what you consume, what you eat, your wealth, your finances, your accumulation, your storage space, your family. It is the Kutumb Bhava. So there could be a little bit of insecurity that you could have with regards to some of these matters. So make sure that you protect your savings, that you make some wise investment related decisions, or if there are major decisions that you have to take with regards to your wealth and finances. So maybe if not now, you could wait for some time to make those decisions. This is also giving multiple dhan yogas, by the way, because your ascendant lord is involved. Both Rahu and Saturn co-rule your ascendant. Your fifth lord is involved. Your ninth lord is involved. All of them are making a transit in the second house. So first few days could be challenging in terms of making decisions. But if you're expecting a rise in your income, new opportunities to create wealth, establishing new businesses, earning profits, it's a very good time. This could probably give you enormous amount of wealth in case your dasha antardasha is supportive. That's condition apply, right? Most importantly, remember that Venus and Jupiter are involved in the Parivartan Yoga. That's again very closely related to wealth, and Venus will go direct around 13th of April, and that's when probably you could see some progress that is building up. You have to take care of your diet. There could be some health issues otherwise. Also, take care of your speech, what you say, what you convey. Think before speaking. Your communication should be very much centered towards building relationship and establishing cordial relationship. See, Saturn's aspecting Jupiter by the third aspect of growth, which is sitting in your fourth house. So this time period is helping you to build fundamental education. So we see primary level education, your fundamentals from the fourth house. So it is time for you to look back at your fundamentals and try to rebuild your value system. What are your values? What are your principles? Sit down and pen them down and how you could probably act to the best of your principles because otherwise you could face some issues at workplace. Mars rules your 10th house and is making a transit in the debilitated state in your 6th house and it will be aspected by Rahu. So there could be some incorrect work related decisions. There could be some conflicts with people at workplace. There could be some opposition or enemies at work or in general in your life. You would have the capacity to overcome them, right? Because you would be in a superior position. But this could cause stress, this could cause conflict, and an unnecessary burden that you would feel in your life. So stay away from any workplace related politics. Uh, if you build your value system, you need to be ethical in terms of anything that you do, matters pertaining to workplace. So make sure that you remember it. You need to look up to Mercury, maybe strengthen Mercury. Mostly around this time, it's your fifth lord. Use a simple Vishnu mantra that is Om Namo Narayanaya to channelize these energies. It is an Ashtakshari mantra, one with 8 syllables, because Mercury also rules your eighth house and your 2-8 axis is involved. This mantra will protect you and help you make some good decisions and channelize the energies of all these grahas sitting in your second house. And I wish you the very best. Now let us talk about Pisces ascendants and what's happening with Pisces ascendants as Saturn and Rahu come together in the sign of Pisces, which is happening in your ascendant, in your Lagna. So, firstly, I want you to have no fear with regards to this particular transit. There's already a lot of fear mongering that is happening. We would look at it in a positive manner. How you can make the most of this time between April through mid May. Of course, you're going to face heaviness because Saturn and Rahu is like iron and steel coming together. So whichever house they can join or they come in contact with, you do face a lot of heaviness with regards to matters pertaining to that house. There were some effects that I explained in the beginning. That is happening in your first house, which represents yourself, your self identity, your reputation, who you are, your body, your vitality, your decision making, your personality, both your emotional, physical, strategic personality, and of course your overall behavior and the kind of decisions that you make. It's your lagna, the most important house or bhava in the chart. And it's not only Saturn and Rahu, Mercury and Venus will also be conjoined in your ascendant on your or your moon rashi throughout this transit. Venus is your eighth lord, Mercury is your seventh lord. So there is definitely relationship karma as well that these conjunctions are bringing during this time. You have to look up to Jupiter. See, because you could have some level of struggle in determining your self identity. So I'm not saying it's a loss of identity because of ongoing pressure or certain issues that probably impacted your reputation. You could have issues with your self esteem and self identity. It is a time to rebuild your identity and think in a very strategic manner. Look up to Jupiter, who's your Lagna Lord. See, Saturn's aspecting your Jupiter by the third aspect of growth. Jupiter is already in third house making a transit, last leg of transit. It is Maran Karak, so it is losing its significance. You need some mentorship, you need some guidance of someone elder, and that's the person who could help you. Look up to Jupiter, use any mantra related to Jupiter. A simple mantra that is Om Gurave Nama will be very good for you to use it at least 12 times in a day to channelize the energies of all these planets sitting in your ascendant. When Jupiter is transiting in your third house, to give it more strength, you consume food items related to Jupiter because this house is second from your second house. What you consume is here. Its fulfillment comes from this house. So that again becomes important. And Jupiter is a favorable planet. It's your Lagna Lord and your 10th Lord. So in case you want to improve your identity, build your strength, and of course improve your work related situation as well, consume saffron, consume jaggery, consume turmeric. Ideal will be milk and turmeric, either in the morning or before going to bed. This is the ideal time for you to consume. Your fifth house and your 10th house would become very positive here. And of course, any efforts that you put, you will see results as well. Mentally, you will be in a good position. Rahu is aspecting your Mars, which is the ninth lord for you. Mars is debilitated in the fifth house. This is the kind of transit which Mars is making for you now. Okay, so this could create a little bit friction with people with authority at workplace and also with your subordinates. So you have to stay low key a bit. Encourage feedback from others and avoid any conflicting situation. Make sure that any decisions that you're taking with regards to your future, these decisions are well thought over. And of course, you're looking into all considerations, pros and cons before deciding. Make use of this time for future planning. Pen down your goals, things that you have to do in future, and avoid any major decisions related to your workplace, especially when there are other people involved, because you will be in a slightly less dominant position over the course of next few weeks. So try and stay low key and focus on building your personality by learning something and trying to upskill yourself. That is the key for you. Look up to Jupiter and channelize your Jupiter, and I wish you the very best. So, friends, this was yet another unique video on Saturn and Rahu conjunction in the sign of Pisces. And of course, it is an intense conjunction. I hope and believe this conjunction, this time period, would give us strength, the strength of iron and steel, with regards to dealing with any matters pertaining to our work, pertaining to our relationship, and our life in general, to make us mentally, physically, and emotionally strong for the greater good. Thank you very much. God bless you all.